I'm just, I don't know how to start this. It looks like it's not going to publish to YouTube. It's at 60%. Alright, maybe it will publish to YouTube. Last time it made it 30. There, published to YouTube. Welcome, everybody. I had added this to Twitch, but I'm not paying money that I don't have to this company, which Streamlabs is a great company. But I don't have the financial ability to do this. Anyways, let's stop that. Welcome to Daniel at night, or Daniel in the morning. Technically, it's 2:46 a.m. where I am at. Where do I want to start at this shit? So if you watched the last Fan Zone, then you've seen a little bit of what I'm talking about. In the grand scheme of making a game, and I'm not in the games industry, but in the grand scheme of creating a game, the easiest thing to finish off would be replacing textures, updating textures, scaling a game up and down depending on the hardware you're working on. And so it really bothered me to see so many people so upset about a game that's probably not coming out for another 4 months. In the middle of a pandemic. So this wasn't when they showed the Halo Infinite trailer, they weren't showing snippets, right, of the best possible spots of Halo Infinite, right? They weren't showing that. What they were showing is someone started the game, and it was a couple hours into the game apparently, which was part of the reason why the guy was so angry, because he had almost died. Apparently he had almost died several times over. So you as Master Chief start off jumping off the Pelican, right? You get off the Pelican and you go blazing through, and there's some texture issues, like the face of the brutes are like real plain, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but clearly a game made for the Xbox One. So this game was built and then made for the Xbox One, and now they're going to have to scale it up for the Xbox Series X. I'm not really worried about it. Upgrading textures or making new textures are something that we see all the time, especially within the mod community. If you've ever watched some of these mods for Skyrim or Fallout, they will blow your mind, right? They can scale up the textures. That's not a big deal for new hardware or for better hardware. Some of the little stuff that I think bothered people was like, where's some of the next gen stuff, and it's just like, I understand why some people are not happy. It almost sounds like my dog's outside my window. Why some people are not happy about. But if you're not happy about one effing thing, the face of a brute, after you shot off its helmet, by the way, the face of a brute, then I don't know what to say to you, right? They're the little shit. It sounds like the dog's right outside the window. I might have to go and get my dog. So, anyways, it's the little things. So when it first starts, so I'm watching it on Gamertag Radio. Go watch and listen to Gamertag Radio on all your favorite podcasting. I know if you care about gaming at all, they're one of the best podcasts. They've been around since the OG Xbox, which is why they're called Gamertag Radio. I was watching their stream, which is their stream of a stream. So I was watching a 1080p stream within a 1080p stream, which is bad because it was a 4K stream, but which was good because I got about the same amount of detail I would have had I been watching the 4K screen blown up all the way. And it felt like Halo, right? It didn't feel like Call of Halo, you know. It felt like Halo. And the only real difference was in order to... There's going to be a sprint button. There'll be sprinting in the game, and that's fine. I thought there wasn't going to be, but I went and read some stuff, and there's going to be a sprint button. So you'll be able to sprint. Originally, they thought sprinting was stupid because Spartans already move extremely fast by themselves. They don't need to be sprinting around, but apparently there's going to be a sprint button. There's the grapple hook for fast movements. You can grapple on objects or you can grapple onto enemies. I thought the gameplay felt good. When I was watching it, the gameplay felt really good. All of the external stuff doesn't matter to me as much. If you're a Halo fan, none of the graphics should matter to you, right? That's easy, real easy to correct. There was no real jank. There was some pop-in. Fuck that shit. That's easy to fix. Easy, I mean in the grand scheme of things, okay? It's not easy like picking up a fucking beer and, you know, drinking it. Which is what I just did. But it's easy in the grand scheme of things, right? Better textures, further pushing out of viewing. So the game was played on a PC. Here's what I will agree with, especially people on Digital Foundry. They should have been really clear about what they were showing. So they should have said, all right, here's a build of Halo from 5 or 6 months ago. 6 months ago is what I heard. And this is playing on a PC at about the same level as an Xbox One X. Which doesn't mean much because it's still a game built for a platform that hasn't been released yet, right? So that's fine. 6 months ago puts it about early mid-February. So they hadn't gone into production of finalized hardware. The hardware had probably been pretty close to being finalized. But here's my biggest issue with the reveals. A lot of this stuff, I'm not worried about how it's going to look because I've seen how well Xbox One scales up to Xbox One X. Scales really well, even if it doesn't support it. A lot of the external features that the One X supports scales up games really nicely. What I want to see more from Microsoft, and I don't know if I'm going to see this from them, is that they show, hey, this is CG or this is an engine, and they were clear about that for Forza Horizons, but they weren't clear about that for State of Decay 3, right? It looked like something that could be done on a newer system. But they should have said what it tells me is, even if it is CG, right? Basically just announcing a game. What it basically tells me is this looks like a game that's going to be story focused. And the chick that was in it, the black chick that was in it, she looks so effing familiar. So I'm wondering if she's someone that I've seen. I'm not sure if it's Hollywood or someone in the streaming industry or someone in gaming that I've seen. But the face looked really super familiar. So we saw Halo. Not worried about graphics. My concern with Halo gameplay is, did it play like Halo? Did it feel like Halo? It did. Not only did it do that, but Master Chief felt like Master Chief. So one of the biggest things is that a Spartan is what's up, Damien?
Dude, what's up?
Holy shit, let me switch over to my headset. What's going on, bro? I was drunk and I felt like doing a stream.
Alright, what's the topic?
Just fucking rambling about some of the shit. I was just kind of talking about Halo and how one of the things I didn't worry about was the actual graphics of a game, because we've seen how that stream, we've seen that Microsoft's been pretty good about scaling up and down between Xbox One and One X, and so I'm not really worried about them scaling up to Series X, graphically speaking. And that's the least of my worries. My biggest concern was, did it feel like Halo? It did. That kind of eased a lot of the concern inside my heart as a fan of the Halo series. But my biggest complaint towards the whole overall story is that they weren't clear on what was going on. Hey, this Halo build is 6 months old. It's being played on a PC that's about the same power as the One X. They didn't put that in there, right? So that when people watched it, they had the mentality in their head. Okay, so this build is 10 months out from a final release. So all right, we're gonna give it a little bit of slack, right? Some shit wasn't finished. Some textures weren't finished, things weren't done, and so you give it a little bit mentally, right? It's all about perception, perception of reality. Perception is reality to people who don't know what's going on. So that bothered me. And then State of Decay, if they said, all right, this is State of Decay, this is a CGI video, what we're showing you is that this story is about this lady right here and her journey. We're not going to explain to you what her journey is or the background to it or anything. We're telling you it's about this young lady right here. And then I felt like
you would have preferred if they had given a little more.
I would have preferred if they had been a little bit more clear about what they were presenting. Because when I watched State of Decay, I got excited. I didn't care if it was CGI or if it was in engine or anything, right? What I cared was that it looked like they were taking State of Decay and they were condensing it down, right? So I'm hoping that what makes State of Decay unique, like gaining materials and building bases and stuff like that kind of stays in there, but your character is the only character, right? So you're focused on this one single woman, and that this whole story revolves around her. That way they can focus on only her, and then external stuff.
And make State of Decay something like The Last of Us.
Yeah, make something like The Last of Us, but only with State of Decay's unique flavor, right? World building, basis. So you would build a base up, and then when you got too big with that base, then another storyline would kick in, where you would have to then find a new base that was big enough for the growing population. Maybe you add like interesting things like people reproduce, right? People have relationships. You almost never see that in a video game. I was just watching a new RPG that if you go down in your Xbox, you dive a little bit down into Xbox's dashboard, you'll see where they've shown some summer of whatever, I can't remember. There's a bunch of demos, and one demo shows this real light skinned chick and this like tan guy, and they're in a relationship, clearly in a relationship, and it's an RPG. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? There's not a lot of games that explore that kind of dynamic. Like, hey, there's these two people basically by themselves. What's going to happen between a young lady and a young man if they're facing vastly, huge odds against them, and it's only the two of them, they're just going to get closer and closer together. And so I'm hoping we see a lot of that in the next. So you'll have babies, you'll be fighting not just for grown adults, but hey, if I don't save this couple, not only do I lose this couple, but I lose this child, or the unborn child or whatever, and I'm trying to grow this community. So I'm hoping that they bring that into that. But what I really want is for them to focus on a single person and like build a narrative out. And then maybe you can expand upon that in DLC.
Well, look at it like you say, even from what you're saying, they could definitely take even the last of us. So my state of the case, from what I remember, is you got like the city, or you got a base, and you had to build it up, right?
Yeah.
So what if they're just continuing on? Okay, you know what? You built up, so now you have this. But this one girl, part of her job is to help defend this. With that, she has to go off and explore and things. So
Yeah.
like you say, we're building it around this one chick, and kind of taking away the whole. You don't want to take away the multiplayer, but you kind of want to say, okay, we have this one threat, and this chick is going to lead a group against the threat.
Yeah.
So you kind of take away some of the other stuff.
You would take away. I think you keep the multiplayer, and maybe if someone comes in there, they take advantage. They join as one of your members on your community.
Right.
But I think you take away. What would be taken away is your ability to switch between the characters. But if you join somebody, maybe you would join one of the characters in their community, so you can jump in and be like, all right, I'm going to be so and so in their community, and then you join them up. But the main character would be like, all right, this is my main character, and maybe they're special, they're immune to the zombie virus, right?
Like something like similar to the map, the last one.
So your whole goal is you can go out and you can do all these things. And if maybe you get a little bit hurt by a zombie, no sweat off your back, you come back, bandage it up, get sewn up, you're good to go. Whereas everybody else, they get bit by a zombie, they're kaput, or they're down until the cure, until their cure gets pushed in, and that's what I'm hoping for. And that's what it kind of felt like. It almost felt like she had some of the powers of a zombie, did it not? When she screamed at the wolf and it freaked out, like maybe it thought she was a zombie. Does that seem like it a little bit? Because she screamed, and it sounded like one of those screamers. The I can't remember what they're called. But I thought it was kind of interesting because it looked like, hey, we're gonna focus on this one chick. And was it me, or did she look really familiar? Like maybe somebody who streams, or maybe somebody in Hollywood or something.
I wasn't.
You weren't paying attention to her? 'Cause she looked really fucking familiar. Like maybe I'd seen her somewhere. Like they had modeled her off a person that I'd been, that I knew, not personally, but like superficially. That's why it was hard to like pinpoint her down.
Well, they always model them off.
They should have modeled her after that chick from fucking Microsoft that had an Xbox or whatever. I wouldn't leave my wife for her, but it'd be hard to say no. That's all I'm saying. What did they showed next? I thought it was pretty funny what they did with Grounded. Grounded looked like it got a pretty good upgrade though.
Yeah, Grounded looking good. Hey, listen, that's the wonderful thing with it. What is it gonna take from you to try Grounded? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it's like maybe you don't play Grounded. You're like, whatever. And then you got Game Pass for $1 and you're like, fuck it. And you play Grounded and you're like, holy shit, this game is fun. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before.
Well,
And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have thought about playing that game before. And you'd never have And maybe because you're not interested in maybe continuing paying for Xbox Game Pass, maybe you buy it. But when you're on Game Pass, you get 20% off the games that are on Game Pass, and a lot of people forget that.
Yeah, but Grounded is never gonna come out of Game Pass because Grounded is a
But you'll be able to
first
purchase
party.
the game. You'll be able to purchase the game,
Right.
right? So you don't necessarily need.
But this
game.
is the thing. This is the thing why I don't understand with people too well that I expect to have sense. Like people going on, oh, we don't want games like Grounded, but they don't. They have to understand when you have a service like Game Pass, you gotta have filler. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Everything
it's
is
not
not gonna
that.
be
It's you're gonna have
big
people.
triple.
Yeah,
Play.
you're gonna have people experimenting too. Like, all right, uh, maybe
Like
you don't.
you know how much Netflix pays in filler content because
Yeah,
you can't just have the big content. You must have stuff that keep people. Some people not gonna always want the big stuff. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like sometimes you find little shows that work. You see what was one of those little shows that work? The Ozark or the Thor.
yeah,
If you notice, they spend quite a bit of money on some of these little what do you call it, the like European
yeah. Little
movies
stuff.
on Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You can't always.
because
If you take a
yeah, the
base.
Hollywood
Yeah,
stuff and that kind of stuff.
you
You
can't
know,
always. You can't
but
always have. It's like baseball. If anybody knows anything about baseball, you can't just have the guy that fucking cranks out home runs. Even if he can crank out a
exactly,
home run every fucking time he's at bat, that's 4 runs a game. You gotta have people fucking that can get on base, people that can bunt in fucking tight situations, people that know how to fucking sling the ball to left, right, center field, be able to knock it in so that when the big guy comes up, when your big hitters come up, if they knock it out of the park, they're just not knocking in one run or 2 runs. They're knocking in 3 runs or 4 runs, and you're getting a giant lead on the team that you're playing. So the little guys that matter too. They're hitting base hits, man. It may not seem like whatever, but that base hit, a couple base hits, and then you get a big fucking, you get the big guy comes out there and he fucking knocks it out of the park. All of a sudden, those couple little guys that are on base, they score too. So
exactly.
grounded's like a double. I don't think it's a single. I think grounded's a double because anything that's co-op is always and that gives me a little bit of extra push. And I think grounded kind of falls in line with like Subnautica, although Subnautica seems like a little bit Subnautica's a
Mm,
little bit more
ex-
interesting because it's underwater. But
and that was done by Insomniac, right?
no, Subnautica is completely independent.
Oh, that's the one with
Yeah, that's the one where
with
you're
the
underwater,
submarine.
right? And people were like tripping out because they had aragophobia or whatever the fuck that's called when you're afraid of the water. And you,
No, I remember Insomniac did a underwater small kind of.
yeah, I don't know what that was, but I know in Subnautica's came to Xbox
It was
first.
just it was right after they did the game for Xbox.
I
Oh
gotta
man.
I gotta pee real fast. All right, I'll be right
Yep.
back.
So while we wait for Joel to come back, I will something. I just I rewatched the show and seen a lot of people's take. Apparently, the content that was shown in the show wasn't bad. It was actually good. Of course, you can get it. Guys just gotta do their Sony's better. But the narrative that Xbox ain't got no games, that's not from what Microsoft showed. They had their studios and it definitely, and that's what I think we all want as X, to know that Microsoft is they're building big games, they're building small games, they're building games to fill Game Pass. They just building. We haven't even seen from all the studios. That's another plus. It keeps us guessing at what else. I understand a lot of people say, oh, well, but what pluses have got? the life cycle of building, whether it's a and especially a big game, is minimum three years because you have to have a game plan that you have to get approved by Microsoft. Then you have to go into the artists have to do their job, what they look like, and that kind of like. So even if we know Playground Game was working on it, even before Microsoft bought them, they started doing the hiring process. They set up the studio. They then got all the equipment. But these things with the scope and the size of the game that they're trying to build, people have to understand this. Fable is about another 2-3 years up,
If
and that's why it's.
that.
Oh, you're back throughout.
Yeah, I just came back. I was just listening. I didn't want to interrupt you because you sound like you were saying some good stuff. I didn't want to. I wanted to interrupt you or
No,
anything like that.
I'm just talking because it. Right now, you're hearing a lot of Sony fans talk, and to me, they talking out of the narrative of, oh well, we didn't see gameplay, and like even this one guy on Twitter was like, oh, Sony don't show off CG cutscenes for their first thing, and I'm like, well, what rock you live under? Sony is the king of CG cutscenes. You know what I'm saying?
This my only concern was I want clarity. Just be clear about what you're showing. A lot of this stuff, I give leeway to everybody, right? So a lot of people were talking shit about Ratchet and Clank, because Ratchet and Clank's the graphics were kind of like last gen graphics. Although some of the stuff they were doing were cool.
Well, not last gen,
Yeah.
current gen.
Yeah, current gen.
Right.
I'm thinking already. I'm already thinking that we're in the next gen. So they look kind of like current gen. But I gave them some. I give them leeway because the easiest thing to ramp up is graphics. You can scale up and down graphics real easy depending on. Maybe they weren't sure. Maybe Sony was like, all right, how much memory are we going to have? How fast is this memory going to be? We're not sure where we're going to be because Apple's bringing out a new phone. And people don't think about this. Apple's bringing out a new phone. Samsung's bringing out a new phone. Motorola's bringing out new phones. So everybody's competing over the memory that's being used, not only for the RAM, but for the SSD. So all this memories can be competed over, and Apple needs a big, huge chunk. Samsung needs a big, huge chunk, probably more than they can produce. And Samsung produces a lot of their own stuff, but Samsung's producing a lot of their stuff for AMD.
Yep.
And this other company's producing. NVIDIA is using the same RAM, GDDR6. Intel.
And not only that, it goes by the order. Some people might have had in their order before some.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
or some people may have a deal with that company.
Everybody happy. Yep.
Right. So from what I understand, and I watch some of these guys who talk about this, Samsung and Apple have something like 60 to 65% of the market when it comes to this. The RAM, when it comes to the SSDs, when it comes to all this stuff, Samsung and Apple have their pick of the litter. Why? Because they sell tens of millions of units every year.
Yep.
Every year. There's no slowdown, right? Because there's a new phone coming out. The S10, the S11, the S12, the S13's coming out. The S14 have come out until they figure out, like, goddamn, these numbers are getting really big. We need to call them something else. And Apple's going to have their phones coming out every single fucking year. So they know they're going to sell tens of millions of Samsung and Apple phones. So there's no big deal. So they get something between 50 and 65% of the market share of a lot of this stuff. Then you've got, and they only get the outer rim, right? Middle to outer rim of these waffles. Then you've got like big companies like Microsoft, Google, Amazon. They're buying the inside of these chips and they're paying a super premium price for their servers, right? Azure, Google's fucking for YouTube and for all their other stuff. Amazon for their, I can't remember what their servers are called. So they're paying premium for the best RAM, and all the best SSDs, where their SSDs are faster than everybody else's, their RAM's faster than everybody else's. Everything's better than everybody else's. So what happens is consoles get all that outside layer stuff. That's where that's where Sony decided to go with the RAM for their cost, not the RAM. The SSD is where their cost, their cost is going to be high. This is why I told people, look, they're going to have to go inside of that waffle for their SSD. And as we move further out, right, as the years pass by, that'll become cheaper and cheaper, of course. But Microsoft's already kind of sitting on the outside of that wafer, and for their SSD. But their RAM, they got a little bit from the inside, middle, inside, and they got a little bit from the outside. And so that's where they save a little bit of money by not having to get all their RAM from the inside and middle of the wafer. Because the further you go out, the more mistakes are inherent into the wafer. So
Right.
it's all a give and take. And I tried explaining this to a Sony guy. I won't call him a Sony fanboy, although he's highly preferential. I won't name him because it's not important. But he called me out like I was wrong. But I was like, look, man, Sony and Microsoft spent money on different things. Sony spent a lot of money on their SSD,
SSD,
and Microsoft spent a lot of money on their GPU and their RAM.
Right, they both went different directions.
They went in different directions. That's why I thought in my head, I was hearing all these guys like Foxy and
him with that fat pipe bullshit.
yeah, the fat pipe. I think that's hilarious, but I won't go into that. He's got sort of a point, but there's Foxy. He was saying it, but so were a lot of the Xbox guys. I don't think Tim Dog ever really got into it, but Dealer and Randall Thor, who I fucking love to death because I love that series, The Wheel of Time. Who are some of the other guys on that podcast? Almost everybody on that podcast was saying they thought the PS4 would be $400 and the Xbox would be $500. In my head, I was thinking, that's not fucking possible. You can't have an SSD fast.
I think that was before we got wind of the whole SSD.
No, that was after the SSD. They were still saying that. Even till this day, they're kind of still saying that. They've waffled a little bit.
No.
But they're kind of still on that fucking branch where they think the PS4 is going to be cheaper. And I just don't see it, man. I think that the cost of producing the GPU on the Xbox isn't that much more expensive than the cost of producing that fucking SSD for the PS5. And one of the things that makes me think that is that Samsung and Apple are fighting for that same shit. They're fighting for that same RAM, that same allocation. Not only that, you got Google fighting for it, you got Microsoft fighting for it, Microsoft Corporation, and then you've got Amazon fighting for that RAM and those SSD slots, and it just doesn't make any sense. And I will give it, the Xbox Series X will cost more to produce, I think, but it won't be that much. Microsoft, I don't think it'll be that much. It's not going to be that much. It's going to be like $10, $15, $20 more, I think. Because
you think it's gonna cost more to produce?
Yeah, but not by that much. I don't think it's be that much. I don't think it's going to be a lot. I think it's because the controller for the Xbox Series X is not going to be as expensive. The SSD is not going to be expensive to produce. They can pick off of low end SSD, right? Even third gen, and they can pick off that. And because they built their Series X, they built their Series X to take advantage of.
No, when you finish.
When they built the Velocity architecture to take advantage of a slower NVMe, which is still massive. People don't realize how massive 2.1 gigs is. I got an SSD in my... People call it an SSD, but it's NVMe drive. The difference is massive.
2.4.
Yeah, 2.4 versus my 320 megabytes per second for a regular SSD. It's still a huge margin of difference, and it's going to be a big difference 2 and 3 years out from now. But I think right now we're looking at the difference between an Xbox Series X, whereas the GPU is more expensive, the CPU is maybe a little bit more expensive, versus the PS4 where the SSD is a lot more expensive, and the cooling solution is a significant amount more expensive than the Series X's cooling solution. Because usually cooling solutions are pennies, right, versus dollars, and that's what it was explained in some of the talks, that instead of pennies, the solution was dollars. And that's a big deal, especially when you're shipping it. Every dollar counts when you're shipping it from Taiwan. And I think that if anybody wants to make any money, they're getting out of China. And from what I understand, is most of these parts, most of this stuff is being built in Taiwan and South Korea, because Samsung is building at least some of this material, and they're out of South Korea.
And not only that, I look at the SSD. Let's go back to the SSD. I think that's why Microsoft made a deal with Seagate, where they're the exclusive builder for the SSD.
Yeah.
I'm saying for the Xbox, and they have the deal to make the proprietary add-on, and I think that helped diminish costs, because now that partnership, Microsoft could say, hey, you can recoup some of this cost. You know what I'm saying? By you being the exclusive partner to sell the add-ons. Because let's look at it. Almost everybody who buys a Series X doesn't buy a hard drive. External. Kaizen 1 terabyte. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where I think who they went with Seagate?
Yeah, they went with Seagate, who makes some of the best fucking hard drives. From when I was in the military, we always bought Barracudas.
Right? Yeah, because in all my time, like, the only time I ever had I only had one Seagate diameter. I have like 15 of them. So that's 1 in 15 for me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, so to me, I think, and that's how they help to keep costs low with partnerships, because remember, the same aren't they, the CPU that they use in the Series X, aren't they putting that in the Azure servers?
Yeah. So
now you're talking that AMD building this, but they build it for Microsoft on a whole. So it ain't just that Xbox taking up the cost. The entire Microsoft is who now paying, and I think this is how they're doing things to keep costs down, so that they can bring in. I still believe they're gonna bring in a console at $499.
Yeah, a minimum. Here's what I think they should do. I think they should bring the Series X at bare minimum at $500. $500, and the Series S, which I know is real, that should come at $250 max out at $250. They shouldn't bring it at $3, because $3 is too close to $450, and I think Sony's going to take a pretty big loss on this on their digital only version, their SAT edition. If you would, they'll take a loss on that. But try to make it up with software, and I think that Microsoft needs to differentiate themselves even from that. And I think if they put that out at $400, but if Microsoft can differentiate themselves at $250, or even if they can pull off a $200 console at the Series S, that would be even better if they can pull that off. So if they can say, all right, our Series S is a third the power, basically, as our Series X, and it basically costs a third
but
the
but it but it
price.
but it wouldn't be, because remember, it's gonna have the same CPU.
Yeah, it'll have the same CPU, the same SSD, but the GPU is going to be the GPU and the RAM are going to be scaled back,
That right.
right? So
Well,
that'll save them a whole bunch of money.
I think the thing with the SSD is that it's gonna be like, instead of a gig, it's probably gonna be 500. Uh, Instead of terabyte, it's gonna be like 500.
If they can do that, that wouldn't be bad, because you're going at
So I'm
1080p
saying,
instead of 4K.
exactly. So it's gonna take smaller assets. Wouldn't use up as much. And not only that, you know what? Because you pay cheaper, just got by, you know what I'm saying, the other stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think they got a lot of room to play with the Series S, but if they can price it at $200, they may goddamn win this fucking generation. They can price that Series S. For example, here's the Seagate FireCuda, which is like their high-end gaming PCI third gen NVMe drive. It runs at 3.2 gigabytes per second. Is priced at
Right.
$187.99.
Mm.
That's at 1
So
terabyte.
you see,
So NVMe,
and that's
Yeah.
1 terabyte.
that's just 1 terabyte. But it's a little bit faster. It's M.2 Ultra Slim M.2 2280 form factor. So it's the kind of form factor you'll need to be putting in your PS4 if you want that extra space.
PS5.
Yeah, PS5, my bad. I was trying to see where the fuck this shit is made at. I don't see it. I don't know if it's made in.
But anyway, before you think, right? I
Yeah.
was talking about the show itself, right? Um, I think, and I think I said this already. I think the issue with the show is because people weren't satisfied with how Halo looked. Because I actually went back, I watched the Digital Foundry Halo stuff, and I understand now what they're saying. You know, then I watched the Richard Review Tech, the stuff that he says he know, and the fact that, you know, it's an old build, you know, and with what Digital Foundry is saying, with some of the techniques that are needed to now make all the textures look better and that kind of stuff. And then also, I saw somebody put up some comparison shots of Gears of War 4 and 5, and they were showing like, okay, this was it when they showed this initial build, and this was 6 weeks later. You see what I'm saying? And you
Yeah.
saw a significant difference. So it's like, oh, okay. So what I think though is, you know, when they have the next showing, I think a lot of people, right, in what they see in terms of the Halo. What do you?
I think
I
we'll
think
see.
that's what you were saying anyway.
Yeah. Graphics are the easiest things to fix or to scale up and down. So I'm not even worried about it remotely. It's people are tripping out over it. I'm not tripping out over it. I'm not gonna fucking get angry over fucking dumb shit. This shit is the easiest stuff to fix. So on the scale of things I'd be concerned with, the first thing would be gameplay. And
But you can see the gameplay.
yeah,
the
the
gameplay.
gameplay's like right, and then there's like, are there some interesting things like the brutes are throwing the little guys? That's kind of fucking cool. The grappling hook looks really cool. The ability to grapple onto an enemy and pull yourself towards them. Although I think fucking Master Chief weighs like fucking what, like 1,300
2
pounds. Yeah, he weighs like fucking 1,300 pounds. So it feels like the fucking most of the fucking creatures should be coming towards you as much as you fucking as much as you're fucking as much as you weigh, but whatever. Um, I'm not worried about it. As on a level of like I'm interested in Ratchet and Clank on the PS5. I'm not worried about the graphics on Ratchet and Clank, right? I'm worried. Did the gameplay look cool? Did it look like it played well? Does it look like it plays like Ratchet and Clank? Yes.
Right.
That's all that matters.
Right.
That gameplay build was probably from 3 months before that shit showed, right? So all these games you're seeing, a lot of them are builds from like January, February, March, especially if a lot of their developers are in the U.S. because they're all on the West Coast and those people are fucking insane. And so I'm not worried about graphics. Graphics, even if it comes out and it doesn't look as good as it should, I'm not that concerned, especially with shit that's going on right now. My biggest concern is, are they dedicated to improving the experience graphically throughout the life, like you saw with, like you've been seeing with Destiny 2, right? So they keep on improving on the engine of Destiny 2, so it keeps on looking better and better every time they improve it. So are they doing that? Yes. Then I'm not concerned. If they start resting on their laurels, which I don't think Microsoft has the ability to do right now, that would concern me. And I'm not concerned about graphics. It's the least concerning thing about anything on a game of this scale. That's just me. I know a lot of people got upset about it, but I'm not fucking worried. Like, an ugly face gives a shit. Remember when that fucking shit came out for what was it? I think they pointed out Perfect Dark Zero on the fucking on one of the. They pointed out the side he was like leaning up against it. He's like, God, that looked ugly. But I didn't change how good Perfect Dark Zero looked like on the Xbox 360. It looked amazing. Like, but that was just an ugly character model pressed up against the wall. It just happened to be that because it was an early build. It's no big deal. Now, if we get to launch and it still looks this fucking bad, then we got something to bitch about. Then we need to start crying at Microsoft. Be like, look, you gotta fix this. Don't be fucking pulling this kind of bullshit. You know, shit like that. But right now, I'm not worried about a fucking game that build was made 10 months before the release of a game.
Exactly.
In the middle of a pandemic. Everybody keeps on forgetting about that. But being more clear on it. All right, this is built. This was shown on a PC, and this build is from fucking February, right? And here's Forza, and this is shown in engine, but it's an engine on an Xbox Series X. Or this is whatever game shown.
But and that's the thing I was trying to tell some guys is, okay, when Sony said this is in engine, Sony don't say in engine. Sony says alpha. Where's the alpha build? Isn't it on PC? People sit down and think that they build these games on the PlayStation. They don't know. They build them on a PC and then they run them through the consoles. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when they start to make the tweak. Because then the console, when you start playing it on the dev kit then shows, okay, if it, you know what I'm saying, if it can handle what they're trying to do and that kind of stuff, or if they need to scale back. And that's why you see things like when people say what do they call it, the downgrading, because okay, after they build it on the PC, when they run it on the console, they realize, okay, you get a lot of frame drops, or you get a lot of bugginess.
It also doesn't mean anything
because they can say, and that kind of stuff.
They could say running on a PC, running on the Xbox Series X. How is it running on Xbox? Is it running? The code is running on Xbox Series S, or is there a video running on an Xbox Series S? Like, come on, man. You can spend shit however the fuck you want. No, I'm saying you can
But
spin it however you want to
you,
spin it.
you see what I'm saying though. It's like the final step is actually to run the code through the dev kit, and that's when you then find out where you have to tweak, and so I don't even understand what some of these guys be bitching about. That's why I feel like but I'm telling you why I feel is like these Sony guys. I think they actually like ain't no other way to put it than they scared because now they can't use the narrative Microsoft ain't, Xbox ain't got no game. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That
that
narrative is
narrative is
dead.
dead. They still got 6 more studios.
Exactly. And it's like, you know what happened? We can sit back and we can say what's coming from Santa Monica is working on God of War. Naughty Dog is well, that might be the only thing they might be trying something new. But if they even thinking of doing something new, that is so far out. You're not gonna see that until the end of the generation. Um,
2023 maybe.
huh?
2023 maybe. Maybe 2024.
Right. Who else they got? Um, because right now the two games that were shown is from Insomniac, right? And what is it? Just the Spider-Man. It was a DLC for the Spider-Man. You could see that they just add on stuff. So they up everything for the PS4 build, the PS5 build. Um, what was it? Like I said, the Ratchet and Clank. You can see that that's they incorporated the whole Rift thing. But you notice you don't end up with this SSD and no loading time from Sony anymore because people realize now that is bull. When you gonna have a demo that's coming on the console but still having loading. Come on, that's crazy.
Just to give you an idea of what fucking Gen 4, and that's what Sony's using. 1
Yeah,
terabyte fucking hard drives cost, and this ain't even good enough for the PS4. This is 5 gigabytes per second. $250.
250 bucks.
250 fucking dollars. Now this is to consumers, but
I believe that PS5 is gonna be this one, and then they're gonna take a major loss on the discless one
yeah.
and sell that one for 499 because they know once you get that, you have to get everything from their network. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I think the Series S isn't gonna have a disc either.
No, because that's where they're gonna eat the cost on those smaller machines.
Yeah, they're
So
gonna
you
eat
can
those
think, but
costs.
you see but you see the issue is Microsoft is already recouping on Game Pass, and trust me, Game Pass is looking oh so good right now. And I have a strange feeling Microsoft is gonna buy that studio that's making what is it, Medium,
You think
because
they're
they
gonna-
want to be acquired. I think they want to grow. But remember, they also said that they won't make it any announcements yesterday because this is gonna be like what their third game exclusive to Microsoft. Well,
Yeah. I'm not sure what.
uh,
And that's only
yeah,
this only gonna be a launch
they
exclusive.
wanna be acquired because they actually say they wanna grow. They want to,
Ooh.
and that's a good thing when you have a studio that wants to grow. And I think the 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 thing the thing that I'm most excited about is these studios that Microsoft acquire actually have ambition. it gotta be a reason why they haven't showed what compulsion is working on. I have a feeling compulsion shocked the Disney World when they showed it, even though they're a small studio. But anyway, what was your initial ranking?
Just I wanted them to be a little bit more clear about what they're showing, like because a lot of this stuff was older, is what I should say, and be like, you know what, Aaron Greenberg cleared. He's like, look, we're in the middle of a fucking global pandemic. The builds on PC from fucking 6 months ago. It's like, we don't have a newer build for you guys. You know, ready to show, ready to fucking slip out to you guys, you know, without fucking possible issues. And it's like, here you go. You know, you wanted to see how it played. This is how it plays. How it looks will change. It will be better. But what they should have done is put that right off the bat. That should have been right up there at the top. Like, right, hey, this is an alpha build from whatever date. You know, we'd show you something better, but fucking coronavirus has fucked everybody over. That's all I'm saying. They just need to be more clear on their messaging. Like, hey, you know, we'd like to show you some newer shit, but right now we can't realistically build something out with nobody inside the building.
Mm-hmm.
I like being an asshole, dude, sometimes. People post shit like, WNBA continues to lead the charge for fight for social justice. And I said, justice doesn't need a friend. Justice is good all by itself. It doesn't need a friend. I'm an asshole. It comes from an old joke from Lewis Black, and where he talks about all the different kind of milks. He's like, acidophilus milk doesn't need a friend.
I wonder if the world will ever go back to how it was.
Yeah, it will. We'll eventually bounce back. Is a pendulum? It'll be weird.
Yeah, I don't just mean from the corona thing.
No, from everything. What's gonna happen is it's gonna swing. It's swung so far one direction, right? And this is what happens.
Because they still having these protests and all that stuff.
Dumb shit, man. Dumb shit. Like, they started protesting over that guy in Detroit. Then Detroit fucking police released a video camera where he shot the fucking police, and that's before they fucking fired at him. And you notice that no one's talking about it now.
Nope.
Nobody fucking talks about it. Or the two police officers who got fucking hijacked and fucking killed in Texas. Nobody's talking about those two guys. And amusingly, both of them are minorities. Both of them are fucking Latinos. And you even gotta look at their names. You don't gotta look at their face. And then one of their daughters like posted videos like, you know, my dad died doing what he loved, protecting people, and people like made horrible comments towards this young lady. It's like, really, I'm watching this pendulum that's swung so far to one side that we all know what happens when a pendulum swings too far to one side. It comes fucking crashing the fuck back down towards the other side, and people are going to be like, look, you guys are fucking nuts. And all of a sudden we've got fucking people like, hey, arrest all these motherfuckers. Like, look, I'm trying to get to work. These motherfuckers are standing in the fucking middle of the street. I got 2 points left on my fucking shit. I can't be late to work. Arrest all of them. I don't give a fuck about any of these motherfuckers. Black Lives Matter. I don't give a fuck. You know what matters?
Yep.
My motherfucking paycheck matters. My paycheck matters, motherfucker. Paychecks matter. They'd be like, all of a sudden you'll see fucking people on fucking Twitter like, paychecks matter. And people will be mad as fuck.
No, but you're absolutely correct.
And then it'll start swinging back to the other direction, and what'll happen is it'll eventually swing back into the middle, because what happened was we swung so much far left, I think, during like the 90s and the 2000s, and then Obama came and the shit started swinging back to the right. Then you got Trump, who amusingly is a lifelong Democrat, which I thought is hilarious, fucking running as a Republican. Now you got it swinging back to the left. Well, the left seems like they're capitalizing on this, so it keeps on swinging higher and higher and higher left and further left. You're like, all right, guys need to fucking chill out, or this shit's gonna keep on going. And then when it swings back, you're not gonna like how ugly it gets, because the normal people in the middle are gonna be like, all right, you need to stop this shit. Then the pendulum is gonna swing way the fuck towards the right. And you may not like what's going to happen when that happens, right? Where it's like, all right, you want to act like an idiot? Time to go to jail, right? Here's a fine. You know, that's the cost of fucking protesting outside the fucking time. You're not supposed to protest after fucking, we got a global pandemic, right? They're just letting these people go now, but really what they should be doing is like, here's a $20 fine. You were out too late. We got a global pandemic. Here's the time you're supposed to be at home. Here's your $20 fine. Go home. See you later. But right now, they're just letting them go.
Yeah, but remember, you can't. But can they do that based on the law?
Yeah, they can find them. It's just a ticket. Yeah, it's just a ticket. Like, hey, you know, you're out past curfew. Here's your ticket for being out past curfew. But if you keep on going, right, doing stupid stuff, that's what bothers me, is that there's a picture of this lady, right? It's not a picture, but it's like this comic. So this guy throws a rock at this police officer, right? She's like, don't take a picture. Then he throws something else at it. Stop, don't take a picture. Then he throws a Molotov cocktail at this police officer. She's like, wait. Then this police officer's like, I had enough of this shit, motherfucker. And he chases the guy down. And they're like, take a picture. Right?
No, a Molotov cocktail means you want to burn my ass alive?
Yeah, your ass getting fucking wrecked, bro. Gang, you're fucking. You threw a rock at me, like whatever. I got this big ass shield, right? You threw some other bullshit at me, like whatever. You just threw a fucking goddamn firebomb at me, bro. You just fucking declared war on my ass. I'm coming after you. But then they take a picture at these people, like fucking chasing people down. Like, come on, man. There's bad cops, right? And you see them. You're going to look at a picture and you can be like, all right, that looks fucking fucked up. But then you see the whole rest of the story and you're like, all right, that's not that bad. It's like, that cop pulled a gun and you're like, holy shit, that cop pulled the gun out of that lady. And that's fucked up. Then you see the rest of the story where that cop was pulling a gun out of that lady because her and a bunch of other people were beating the shit out of his buddy, who wasn't doing anything but telling people, hey, you can't go past this line. This is the line. You can't go past this line. And then you went past this line, so he had to detain you. Then like 18 people are beating on this cop. You know, when more than fucking one person is beating on another man. It's just weird. It's just weird, man. How did we get on this conversation? How did we get on this conversation? Anyways, I don't know either way. But back to gaming. What was the next shit that happened? So they announced State of Decay, which got me really excited. It looked like they were showing the direction the game was going in, and it looked good. Psychonauts, which I found out later, that's just one single level, so it's not the whole game. The guys at Eurogamer saw like other levels, so that's not the whole game. That's just that level. Psychonauts guys are working on something else, so they're going to be doing something else. What else did we see? We saw Forza. We saw Grounded. Forza looked nice. Forza looked nice. Then we saw Grounded, which looked a lot better than it does now. So hopefully we see a lot of improvements from that. We saw the DLC, one of the two DLCs that are coming for Outworlds. which got me excited because I really like that game. Then we saw what the hell was that game called? Their new RPG, FPS RPG.
A something.
Yeah, A something. God damn
The
it.
one that looks like Skyrim. The one
Yeah.
that looks like Skyrim. And everybody going gaga over that.
And that will be exclusive to PC and Xbox Series X.
Yeah. And you see people want Skyrim, so you see, and this is what I'm saying, like, and that's a brand new IP.
Yeah. Well, no, it's
You know
not.
what I'm saying? And
It's not. That's what it's based off of their it's on the same IP as their
yeah, but
they're-
it's a brand
yeah.
new IP. It might be the same engine and maybe like Skyrim, but it's not Skyrim.
No, it's not
like
that same
the
engine.
game.
What I'm saying is it's the
Okay, but it's not.
it's
a
the
sequel.
world from fuck, I can't remember the name of the games. They're fucking games that they put out. They put out some
What
games.
is it oh, I know what you mean, because I heard them speak about it. Not Age of Empire, not Age of Empires.
I'm opening the Xbox app.
Yeah.
I know what the fuck.
It's the-
Pillars of Eternity. It's the Pillars of
Right.
Eternity world. So you'll be able to fucking. So they're building onto that legacy, which is kind of exciting. It looked cool as fuck when he did his little fucking. He did a little ember when he cast a spell and then surrounded his hand. That looked bad as fuck.
Mhm.
And they thought maybe that was an engine. Like maybe we
They-
saw some engine stuff, right?
Yeah,
there.
that's what Digital told me. That they believe that little part.
That was the actual game. I'm hoping so, man. That looked bad as fuck, man. That looked awesome.
I tell you, I'm really interested in seeing more of that State of Decay.
Yeah, that State of Decay looked awesome. I'm really interested to see where they go with that. I'm hoping they go with a more story focused game of that. I guess the fucking guys at 343 have already named the brute Greg.
They what?
Now, you know the meme picture of the brute that's got like low resolution polygons and just looks really ugly. Like someone put it they put like
You mean
fucking
from the
from Halo Infinite, the one everybody's memeing.
the gorilla?
Yeah, so Brian Jarrett, he's like, so are we in agreement that the poor deadpan brute, his name is Craig? I now really want to know more about Craig. What's he up to? How has his time on the ring been? When he's not getting smacked in the face, what does he do for fun? So they're calling him Craig. That's the best way to get rid of that kind of shit. It's just like to fucking accept it. Just
Make
accept
fun
it.
of it,
Yeah.
right?
Just
like
accept it.
what they did, and you see that's the thing. I like Microsoft. Like, okay, you know what? We seen what you're saying, and we just
Yeah.
run it with it.
Yeah, with Grounded, they're like, if you're looking for the biggest game of the year,
That was funny.
wait for Cyberpunk. But if you're looking for the smallest game of the year, we got you covered.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I was trying to see what other games they fucking announced. Oh, here it is. So there was they didn't show anything of Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, which kind of disappointed me because everybody got excited and then it was like nothing. Avowed was the name of that game. I'm super excited for Avowed. They didn't show anything about Senua's Saga, which kind of was disappointed. Forza looked awesome. State of Decay looks like it's going into a different direction, which is awesome. Crossfire X Did you notice that Crossfire X
Oh man,
single player campaign
that
is not going to
that
be on Game Pass? The
it's not.
multiplayer will, yeah, but not the single player. Yep. If you looked at the writing at the bottom, it said single player will not be on Game Pass.
That's very. But that shit looks fantastic.
Warhammer looked pretty cool.
But it has that. Yeah, but it has that real like Call of Duty.
Yeah. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide looked like it's going to be Left 4 Dead style game. And that's kind of exciting. That'll be pretty awesome. Phantasy Star Online 2 got me excited. Because it looks like it's going to be a new expansion that's it's basically coming out everywhere. So it's not going to be like something that's already out in Japan. So it's coming out everywhere. The mediums got me confused. Are we playing game? Are we playing that game at the same time, or are we in two different worlds?
That's what I was gonna ask. That's what I was gonna ask.
I'm not sure.
Previous the two screens that
yeah
are they be controlling on? The
are you
screens,
controlling or at the same time on two screens, or are you going to be switching between the two worlds? That's got me wondering, because they said they're rendering both at the same time, and the guys on Digital Foundry are saying it's actually cheaper to render two worlds using ray tracing than it is using the more standard technology that people use now. It looks cool. Looks interesting. It looks like she's an investigator, though. Is that what you got from the show, or from the little bit we saw? She goes and investigates stuff. It looks like she's investigating stuff. Like maybe there's going to be multiple investigations. I hope so. That looks pretty cool. The Gunk. Are you going to be playing the Gunk? I'll probably play the Gunk.
Hell yeah.
At first I was like, I'm not playing the Gunk. Fuck the Gunk. But then I was like, man, SteamWorld was really fucking good. I'll probably play the Gunk. Tetris Effect. I don't know, man. I played enough Tetris, yeah.
Just
some
on a
people,
late game,
yeah. Every now and then you want to do, but it's like a multiplayer game. It looks like fucking way too stressful for me. All the colors and fucking jang, jang, jang. I'm like, you know what? Fuck that shit. I'm gonna play Stalker 2, which looked fucking amazing. And when I was watching it, at first they thought it was like, no, this is just not an engine. Then they were looking at it and they were like, that's an engine. That looks like it's the game. It looks like Stalker, and I'm super excited for Stalker 2. I loved the first game. And I knew it was Stalker. When I was watching, I was like, all right, this Metro, and then I saw the building, and you see the first building where there's like a hole, where there's like a door or something on the top of the building. If you ever played Stalker, when you get through when you get out of the little, there's an underground area, you come out, that's what you see. It's like a little village. And that's the first village, that's the first building you see. So Stalker 2 looks like it's going to take place in the same spot as Stalker 1.
That's what I was going to ask you, so what kind of game is it though?
So think Metro.
I went. Mm-hmm.
Think Metro, but there's radioactivity, and there's areas of radioactivity that fuck shit up. So you'll be walking, and for example, in the first game, you come out of the village and you turn left, and you go down over this little bridge, and there's these dogs and these pigs fighting, and some of them will run into this anomaly. It's called an anomaly, and it kills them. It fucks them all up and kills them, and so that's the first time you get introduced to anomalies, and you have to have special equipment in order to get into anomalies or get past anomalies, and it's really interesting take. But there's a lot of users, there's a lot of mods for it that make the game more user friendly, because it's really fucking You gotta get really nitty gritty into the game. It's really fucking hard to even get started into the game. Because the first time I played it, I got out of the first level. I went up. I talked to some guy. They told me, "Hey, go do this." I went over. I didn't get past the fucking bridge. Like 3 pigs attacked me, and then I got past the 3 pigs. 2 dogs attacked me, and I died, dude. I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go right." I went right, and there was this like high level guys just fucking gunned me down at this base. So the next time I tried to like drag each one of them out, and 3 of them came down and they wiped the whole village out by themselves. Because I thought if I drug them out into the village, that they would the village would kill them, but they came and killed the village. They killed all the people in the village. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, this game has no fucking fucks. These guys came in here and just fucked this fucking village up, killed all the people in it, ruined like fucking 115 missions or some shit. It was crazy,
but
man.
But it's an FPS though.
Yeah, it's a first person shooter. Yeah. It's a first person shooter. What do you think about Destiny and everything coming to Game Pass? That's one less fucking shit you gotta buy though, right? One less expansion.
Well.
Yeah. Can you not hear me?
But no, I was asked. But it's a FPS.
Yeah, Stalker is an FPS game.
Okay.
It's a irradiated area around Chernobyl. So, yeah, it's definitely first person. What did you think about the Destiny 2 announcement?
It's just.
I mean, it's like one less expansion.
I like the fact that it's free.
Yeah, one less expansion you have to buy.
All the expansions and everything. Oh, I didn't get it last.
Yeah, I think all I've got is the base game. That's all I got.
Exactly. So in the next couple of when did they say?
September or something. Yeah, September 19th or something like that. Well, I'm supposed to have a new job in September, so we'll see about that. I saw him drive past me. I tried to wave at him, but he's like, just kept on driving. I'm like, fuck you, man. I guess I'll just be working at this fucking job for the rest of my life. But I thought it'd be kind of interesting if I could be able to drive around and fucking... I think my wife might have tried to call me. Hold on. She went to visit her sister. And my phone died because
also she's not there.
Yeah, she's not here.
How come you didn't go with her?
I don't care about her sister. Things may have happened between me and her sister. So I don't go hang around with her and her sister. I'm not saying anything, yes or no. Just know that I don't go fucking hang with her sister and her. That's all.
Shit happened.
Well, something happened, but it didn't do nothing with that hole. That's all I'm saying.
No, when I said I mean,
yeah,
you know, people have this.
I don't dislike her sister or anything like that, and I don't want to make that. But I just don't hang out with her sister because it's not that me and her sister don't get along. Me and her sister get along just fine. It's just that me and her sister had a relationship, and that relationship it's not coincide with me and my wife's relationship.
It wouldn't.
No.
Anyway, that's not for this.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with this conversation.
Exactly.
So Destiny 2, all the expansions. We talked about Psychonauts. As Dusk Falls, what do you think about that weird, it looked like a painting type interactive game, interactive fucking movie?
Yeah, I got to see a little bit more.
where you like start off as the family and then you play the girl later on in life. I hope what happens is like you come back and you read this guy's like letters, and you two have kids, and at the end like you're playing the kid of these two people. That would be fucking hilarious. Like your parents like got into like a fight, and like this guy's parents robbed your parents, and you guys end up getting together and having a kid, and that's a really, really awkward family reunion. Like, why do we have to be at this marriage? I just don't understand.
But think on it though. That is gonna be front story for you.
It looks like maybe they did it in real life. Like they recorded it and then they water painted over it. Doesn't that kind of look that way?
The phrase that way is usually defined as.
Yeah, shut up, Alexa.
The art style.
My
The phrase
boy.
that way is usually defined as.
Alexa, stop. Jesus Christ. She just kept on talking.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Yeah, I know. And we already talked about Ground It. We should play that. That looks like it'd be a pretty cool light game to just jump in for like an hour, a couple hours a night, or a week or whatever, when we can all get together and just build shit. The Outer Worlds DLC, it looks cool. Tell me why. What'd you think about that? That's the one with the brother and sister, although the brother is clearly the sister as well.
I got the whole life is advice.
I just when I hear that, when I hear people say the Life is Strange vibe, it really makes me mad because I really, really enjoyed the Life is Strange. And I really, really hated the prequel. Because I felt like the main character in the Life is Strange was really dynamic and interesting. And she spanned different kind of ideas. So she had like maybe an ideology over here that was different from her ideas over on this direction, right? So she lent one way when it came to this idea, but she lent another way when it came to this idea, right? So she wasn't like a caricature of an idea. She was dynamic, and I really loved her, and I enjoyed playing as her. Also, her powers to control time were the shit. But her friend was just a fucking cunt ass bitch. Every horrible name you can name a fucking female, every fucking name I call her. The C word, the B word, the fucking whatever word that makes you really mad if you're a female. That's what I call her. She's such a self-centered, worthless piece of shit. So why would I want to play her in a game? She's a caricature, right? Which was fucking great, right? Because she was an offset. Like, so you had this far left offset and this chick, right? And then you had this guy who was like the far right offset of her, and she was like in the middle, and you had these two people that were like one direction and the other person was the other direction, and you can like see her ideas like kind of leaning both ways at the same time, but she wasn't all the way this way and she wasn't all the way that way. And you were like, all right, I could see and understand and realize this character. And then they went and made a game about the girl on the far right or the far left, and it's like, I'm not interested in playing those type of games. And then the second game, it was like, I played the first episode, which was really cool. I tried playing the second episode, and it was like, I can't get into it. Like, I can't get attached, even though it's a guy and his brother, right? Maybe it hurts that I never had a brother. I was me and my sister. So I couldn't really identify with the character, and it was hard for me to, like, move forward into that storyline. I don't know if that made any sense, but I felt like the first game, they kind of fucking nailed it right there, right in the middle. They nailed it. And then the rest of their games are just eh. Their vampire game was the shit though. Vampire, that game was fucking awesome if you haven't played that yet. But
it's good.
yeah, it's
I haven't
really
downloaded it.
it's really good. You should fucking download it and give it a try. It's really fucking good.
I
'Cause
have it downloaded. I just didn't.
Yeah, give it a play because it's like a balancing act. It's like that game I just told you. It's a balancing act. So you're trying to be good, but still have enough power to fight. So you're kind of balancing between the two. Now you can go all the way fucking vampire and be like, fuck these motherfucking people, right? Or you can try and go all the way one direction and be like completely as human as possible and try to fight like in these completely overwhelming fights. Like these fights will like completely overwhelm you unless you're completely and totally tactically aware and ready for these fights. So you gotta kind of balance how you want to play out, and it can be pretty fucking hard, but it's a really fun game. And I just don't know where they're going with this game. I'll probably give it a try, see what it's like. I'm not gonna judge a game before it comes out, so hopefully it kind of like takes that middle ground where you're like kind of tugged in each direction, and we'll see where it goes. I'm interested, which is good. But I was interested in the second game of their last series, and they put out a little mini free game where you played as this little blonde-haired kid, and his powers were flight. And his dad like was abusive, but his dad didn't want to be abusive. His dad had a problem. Everything had like fallen apart around his father, and the kid was just kind of. It was the kind of like, he kind of got the fucking shit into the stick, right? And everybody was being a dick to his dad, which made everything worse for his dad. Which made his dad's job as being his dad harder. His dad's trying to be a good person, but his dad fucking doesn't know what to do. And people aren't making it fucking any better because they're just against his dad, and it's just fucking. Then at the end, you're like, you float up over the ground, you're like, holy shit. And then the people from the next game, they're like seeing you, and they're like, wow, all right. But they understand because the little brother also has an ability. So that was fun, but the next game kind of disappointed me, even though I was interested. Does it make any sense? Maybe I just rambled for a little bit, but this is called rambling, goddammit.
Yep.
What else? Everwild. So from what I understand of Everwild is they don't know exactly where they're taking this game. So they have a bunch of ideas they're kind of fleshing out on where exactly this is going to be focused on. So it's going to be adventure. They know that, but they're not sure how they're focusing this game because it looked like a little bit of world building was in it. Like maybe you were going to be build a town or something. Because remember that thing circled its tail and pulled the tree down. Maybe there would be a little bit of Pokemon-ish things, where you go and you.
I ain't even trying to think. From the first time I saw Everwild, I was like interested.
Yeah, it does look really cool.
Rare hasn't let me down yet.
Yeah, it looked really cool. I'm interested. I'm interested in see where they goes. Alright, so there's Baleen World. That was the weird, Japanese game. That was kind of had the Knights guy working on it for Square Enix. What do you think about that fucking game?
It does look like Knights.
Yeah, it felt like it feels really like Knights. Yeah.
So I just need to see a little more.
I'm interested in it. It'll be on Game Pass, so I'll definitely give it a try. What do you think of Hello Neighbor 2? I didn't like the first
What
game.
kind of game is that? What kind of game? Yeah. What kind
So
of
you
game
like
is
make a
that?
plan, like you saw a neighbor is like acting real weird, and maybe he's doing some evil shit, and so your job is to sneak in and find out what the fuck is going on.
Like, okay.
And I don't know what the fuck this is. It says Echo Generation. Hold on, let me click on it. These little games, right? I know, I forget. Small town plagued by supernatural events. Echo Generation starts a group of kids who try to find at the bottom of what's happening. Some of these games, like some of these games got announced beforehand. Oh, this is the side scroller they showed. No, it's not a side. It's 3D. First, I thought it was side scroller. Alright, this is one of the preview games. It looks like, I don't know what that looks like, dude. It kind of gives me a little bit of, Psychonauts, but maybe not. Like it's real slow. Is it an FPS? It is an FPS. Or not FPS, it's a role-playing game. It looks like it's a role-playing game along the lines of, what's a Costume Quest, maybe. It's a little bit pixely. 3D pixel art is what it looks like. I don't know, man. I ain't never seen anything like it. Whatever. I don't know anything about it. Watch Dogs Legion, which has absolutely no interest in it anymore. What'd you think of it?
Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't like the fact that you gotta, like, this is my thing. Okay, you're playing a game, you choose your character, and you go with that character from the game. You know, that's
Yeah.
that's the
It's got permadeath too.
exactly the character dying. That's it. And I understand we want to be more real life, but like I like the John Wick character that they show,
Yeah.
but
The super spy, then they kill him off.
Yeah, and basically from what I'm seeing, it's like the game has characters that die. So no matter how good you play, your character will die. Like set up that
I
way.
don't know. It's just I'm not really interested anymore. I don't know. There's something about it that just like, whatever. I might pick it up if it's for like $11 or something. There's the mech game, the first-person shooter Exomech. What did you think of that?
Oh, that the Transformers looking at it.
Yeah.
That is it's Battle Royale.
There's Dragon Quest 11S. That's nice that Dragon
Yeah.
Quest is finally
They
coming to
actually-
Xbox.
Super. For those.
It's about fucking time, dude. It's long overdue, man.
Yeah, I already done the started.
When's it coming out? December 4th?
That's what it says, but the fact that they already give the download, I don't know if you guys trying to believe them. Like what?
That's interesting. We'll see.
What else?
That was about it. Medium, PSO2, State of Decay, Forza Motorsports, About, Senua Saga, Fable, Halo Infinite. That's about it. That's a lot of first-party titles, man. I think 7 first-party titles.
Yeah, a lot more than what Sony showed. What Sony showed? 3.
Yeah, 3.
Wait,
Well,
that's
and they still got.
Spider.
They both have a lot of first-person titles to show.
No,
Yeah, Spider-Man is not a full
it's-
game.
no. But I just talking about from their first party studio
Yeah.
because I consider that game with the chick with the space first party because they're publishing, so that's a Sony. Then you have the Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah,
But they
Horizon
didn't really
2.
show anything on that. But that's not much. The first
They
one
showed a
before,
turtle.
So Fable showed Frog.
Yeah, Fable showed a frog. Horizon showed a turtle.
But
I'm interested to see where they take Fable, though.
I think Fable more. We boy puppy. Back. Don't be wagging your tail. Back. Come on. Back. Dog. Not letting me. Alright, cool.
All right. Yeah, me too, man. I'm fucking tired. I gotta get up at fucking go to work tonight. Peace out, man.